Lost Art with Andrew Cox, retired Master Gunnery Sergeant. thelostart.podbean.com. Get some merchandise and help support the podcast in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. Now on all major podcast platforms. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be a guest, tell your veteran story, discuss your veteran business or organization. Email The Lost Art with Andrew Cox at gmail.com. Andrew Cox, a Teal Valhalla Project Ambassador. See the project story at tealvalhallaproject.com. Thanks for tuning in. Please enjoy the podcast that's giving a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a fireside chat with the crew. But before we get into the episode, or you enjoy the podcast, well, make sure you go to the Lost Art website. That's the lostart.podbean.com. Go check it out, see what we're all about. There is that merchandise tab. You can click on that, get you a hat, get you a shirt, get you a mug, get you something cool. Help support us in getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. Also, a big shout out to the Teal Valhalla Project. A big thanks to them for allowing me to be an ambassador for that great organization. If you don't know anything about them, go to their website. That's tealvalhallaproject.com. Go check it out. If there's any way you can help them out, please do so. All right. With that, I got the crew here, and we'll go ahead and go round robin. So we'll start with Mark. Mark, how you doing?
Doing outstanding. California, beautiful weather, but of course, same thing. I don't want to get cut off, but this politics, politicians, taxes, prices. But I do believe that it's going to be on Tuesday. There's going to be a pretty good voter turnout total, and California is going to look a lot more red than it did. I'm not sure if it's going to be fully red, but I think it's going to be a lot more red than it was.
I'm very curious to see what happens.
Exactly. So am I. I just got back from a trip. I was a guest speaker for a Marine Corps League down in Mandeville, Louisiana. If you leave New Orleans and go across that 24-mile bridge, as soon as you get off that bridge, that first town is Mandeville. They have a Marine Corps League there, a new one. It's about 3 years old. They named it after a 3-1 Marine, Justin McLeese. His parents were there. There was 2 more Gold Star families that were there. It was pretty phenomenal. Pretty phenomenal.
Yep. Nope. Lost me.
Andrew cutting out.
Yeah, it's me. My satellite is all messed up, so I apologize.
Okay. I can hear you now.
All right. You were the guest of honor for that, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
So
I like it. Did you record your speech?
I did not. And they were supposed to have it set up to record, but they didn't get it. They didn't get it done. But I think someone did. So as soon as I find it, one of the Marines there said they were recording it. So I'll try to get a hold of him.
Nice. All right. Sounds good. All right. We'll go ahead and go over. Mike, how you doing? Mike, how you doing?
You started saying we'll go over to here and that.
Hey, I don't know what's going on with my satellite here. So.
All right. I'm doing good. Been a good week. Wife and I were just sitting here trying to get our medical benefits done before we don't have medical benefits for the new year, and she had to resuscitate me for a minute when I saw the prices. I was like, good God almighty. And the plan we had, and they added like 6 more plans to it. But the plan we had jumped from $4,000 a year I would pay out of pocket with a $2,500 deductible. Went to almost $6,500 with a $4,800 deductible.
Woo! Good God. That's insane.
But they're offering other plans on there. It's like I'm out of pocket for myself, my wife, and my daughter because her son doesn't qualify anymore. There's like $600 and some a year, like $636 a year with the $5,000 deductible. But, then we're on the hook to pay any medical costs up front up to that $5,000 deductible with prescriptions and all that crap. So it's
Wow.
like, and even with us, we were talking, one of the prescriptions she's on, she has to take, a 90-day. Yeah. Well, they only prescribe it in 90-day supply is right around, if we were paid for it out of pocket, is right around $600.
Ooh. Wow.
So that just goes to show how we pay to live.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That is. That's unbelievable.
Outside of that, the wife and I left Wednesday, got back Saturday. Yesterday, went on a little cruise, had fun. Never
Yeah, I
got
saw
to get
some of
off
those
the
pictures.
ship, but we had good times though.
Yeah. I saw
Mark would have been
pictures
proud of
of
me.
you.
I had entirely too much Jameson and stuff like that. Because I asked for a bourbon and Coke, and I had like Kentucky Gentleman. I'm like, what the hell is that? What the hell is Kentucky Gentleman? But the ship had come from Europe, from the Mediterranean.
Oh yeah.
So it was loaded with what they believe over there is what, we want to drink over here. And they got to
Right.
burn all that off. And I'm like, you don't have any Jim Beam, Jack, no Wild Turkey. No, none of that. They're like, no, sir. And I'm sitting there looking at this is a whiskey bar now. And I'm sitting there looking,
Oh,
there's like
wow.
100 bottles on the bar. And I'm like, never heard of that. Never heard of that. Yeah. And Glenlivet. Yeah, I've seen that before. Can't afford that, And finally I saw the Jameson. I'm like, Jameson and Coke right there. That's it.
I've been drinking it with a ginger ale. I really
Yeah,
like
I had a few of those with ginger ale. Yeah.
Yeah, it's especially if there's not too much ginger ale, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that out.
Other than, I had a good week, other than me looking at my medical benefits, which I'm going to have to go back and look at it and
Yeah.
decide whether I want to live or not. We'll see. Well, that's what I was telling everybody on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, Aaron. I had to have had a tooth that broke. Well, what I didn't realize that I forgot, it was actual crown. And the crown had come off, and I go in there, and he goes, oh, yeah, it was a crown. And he's like, well, we can put it, there's x-rayed, it looks good, doesn't need a root canal, just put another crown on there. I said, okay, because my plan was just to have him pull it. And he goes, well, I had the woman from up front come and talk to you about it. I'm like, talk to me about what? Oh, the cost. And I'm like, there I am. I have medical insurance, dental insurance, and I'm sitting there having to work out a finance plan to finance a damn crown. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
I'm like, and then I had a tooth on the bottom, and I had a filling from the Navy filling. It's probably over 20 years old now.
Wow.
And he was looking at it. He said, did that tooth bother you? And he goes and pokes it and pops the whole entire filling out, and some of the tooth comes with it. And I was like,
Now it does.
he goes, well, we'll look at it. We may have to just do a root canal. I was like, no, when I come back, you do this, you're yanking that one. Well, I don't know that that's a good idea. I said, well, my budget says it's a good idea. So we're just...
Very nice. Oh, wow. Gotta love it.
Hey, I grew up around a lot of old timers that didn't have teeth, and dentures, and they'd put their dentures in just to eat dinner.
Well, I want to keep as many teeth as I can, but it's like, all right, it's last molar in the back. Just let's go to town, man.
They had a plug of chaw in their mouth, and just
Yeah.
that's how they got by the day. And they lived into the 90s. So
Yeah.
Gotta love it. Well, speaking, Aaron is back. So, Aaron, how are you doing?
well, I've been doing a lot better. Took a break off for a little while, had a lot of stuff going on, changing jobs, family stuff. And then the hurricane hit. Or I would have been back a few weeks ago. Let's see. So October 9th, almost exactly at 9:30, I lost power. As soon as the lights went out, I see a guy walking up my sidewalk with a flashlight. And I was like, uh-oh, what happened? And I thought I heard, it wasn't like a loud boom, but I mean, limbs were falling.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff was getting thrown against the house. I mean, as you can imagine, it in a hurricane, right?
Yeah.
And he bangs on the door. Boom, boom, boom. Open the door. I was like, what's wrong? He's like, it got me. That tree got me. My
No.
saying the tree fell on his house. Luckily, it hit the corner of his carport and then hit his car. They totaled the car. Probably not totaled, but they totaled it anyway. shattered the windshield, dented the hood, in the pillar along from the driver's door.
Yeah.
And in the corner of his house, it just knocked a chunk off the corner of his house on the roof. Maybe $5,000 worth of damage. So speaking of insurance, he called his insurance $14,000 homeowners insurance deductible for hurricane deductible.
14,000.
Whoa.
Why have insurance?
Exactly. So,
I'm
okay.
gonna go take out a loan so I can pay my deductible.
2 houses across the street from me. Well, technically 3. One was taking on a little bit of water. FEMA came and looked at his house. He's got some water damage to the floors. One kind of, to my left oblique, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
About 2 feet of water in their house.
Woo.
House is done. The house is paid off. They dropped insurance about 6-7 months ago.
Oh no.
So no insurance. The house is completely done. Because of that water standing there for as long as it did before pumping. I can spend the whole podcast moaning and complaining, but I'll give y'all a little bits of information here and there. It took them almost 2 weeks to start pumping water out of the flood area. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyway, so her house, black mold to the roof, to the ceiling, because water's sitting there so long.
Yeah.
And to the left of them, they had about a foot of water. So basically all floors are done. They're going to have a contractor. He knows somebody. They're going to have a contractor come in and look at it to see if it's going to be completely totaled, total loss. Because if it's total loss, they might as well tear it down because they have to build everything back up to current code. And these are older homes. So,
yeah. Wow.
But other than that, got my power back on. Y'all probably seen the Facebook post. What day was that? Wednesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday? This past. It was Wednesday because, the 30th. So 21 days. Well, with exception of 2 days there where they turned the power on to tease us and then turned it off because of our junction boxes or, the green boxes.
Yeah.
Were still submerged. So they said, well, we can't have the power on with those submerged. I'm like, you had it on for 2 days. And nobody was electrocuted.
Wow.
So they cut it off. So 21 minus 2, that's 19 days without power. Running on a generator. About, I'd say almost 15 gallons of gas in a 24-hour period is what I was pushing.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, the gas is cheap nowadays.
Nope, it sure isn't. It was a lot.
Well, I'm glad that
I don't have a number for it. I'm sure it was in the thousands of gas.
Yeah. For sure. Well, I'm glad you're back. We missed you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. I'm glad to be back. Just needed some time off to kind of gather myself and get back on the straight and narrow, and then look forward to the Tuesday meeting. Men of Christ.
It'll be good. I think that'll be a good one. I'm
looking forward to that one.
So, all right. Well, we'll go over. Vic, how you doing?
Life is good. It's been a busy weekend. Let's see. Friday night, my high school band, it was some of my junior high kids, played for the first time in the school's history a football game. All 11 of us. It was epic. We had a good time. The superintendent was happy, or the principal and the president were happy. So we're happy. I'm happy. Then so I got to drive. I got to drive the short bus. So yeah. So drove the short bus to the game and back. Let's see, and then basically didn't make it to bed until midnight that night. Saturday morning, we had to leave for Charleston at 5:30 in the morning. So I basically got a 4.5-hour nap. And then Saturday we went up to the Charleston Highland Games, and since we're conveners for Clan Forbes, we were hosting the Clan Forbes tent. Amy went with me, so it was the two of us and watching, caber tosses and hammer throws and bale tosses all day. It was great. And then we went straight from there to basically, I think it was called Parents Fall Fest or something like that, back at the school where I teach, where it's just parents and teachers, no kids. So they were serving alcohol and all kind of stuff, and I didn't even bother changing. I was still in my kilt, so I went to this event in my kilt, and as soon as the principal saw me, she was like, double take in, and like, and then she just turned and walked away. I yelled after, I'm confident in my masculinity. What do you want? Yeah. So, but yeah, we had a good time there, and then came back and basically almost I went and smoked a cigar and then came back and crashed out and did not do a damn thing today because I was wiped out from all that. It was a long, busy weekend. And then tonight, let's see, my niece is one of her sons is actually, although the one is already in the delayed entry program for the Marine Corps. So my great nephew is going to be a Marine. He's halfway through his senior year now. So proud of that, of course. And then his little brother, who's a junior in high school right now, like the recruiter said, hey, while you're here, why don't you go ahead and take the East? So he calls me and says, hey, uncle, I make him call me Grunkle. So for great uncle, Grunkle calls me, he says, hey, Grunkle Victor. Like I took this ASVAB and I scored an 88 on it. Is that good? And I was like, you didn't take the ASVAB. You took an East. But yes, that's good because I scored like an 88 on the East and got an 84 on the ASVAB. I said, so you're good. You can do almost anything you want. So you'll be all right. But then my niece, his mom calls me. She goes, what he meant to ask you is that he wants to be an officer. I was like, oh, okay. So, basically the recruiter was just not telling him about the officer program because the recruiter's trying to keep his options open, right? Because recruiters are always looking for people. And I was like, well, all right, go find the OSO and this and that and this, and you can apply for the scholarship, so you can go to, Texas A&M and, Navy ROTC, and gave her the whole rundown. And then I had another Marine call me that's in sergeant's course right now and ask, she goes, I got to interview people for this and that. And, can I ask you about your, deployment, and experience and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, all right, cool. So lots of information today, Marine Corps information. Hopefully not much of it's outdated yet, but it was a very full weekend. Tonight's cigar is a Dunbarton Mi Querida. I have reviewed this one again, so I'm not going to review it or at least go too much in depth. But this is the Blue Label, very earthy cigar, medium to full body. Out of the Mi Querida line, the blue line. For those of you that remember, I know Mike's hanging on every word. But for the the Blue Label is the least robust of the three lines that they have. So it's a really good cigar. This is Robusto, and I'm trying a crown cut. I don't know if you can see this. This is a V cut in two different directions. And they call that a crown cut because if you look at it from the side, it kind of pokes up and kind of looks like a crown if you do it right. But this is what they call a crown cut. So it's a V cut in two different directions. It's nice and open. But that's a good cigar. So
what's the benefit of that?
So you think about basically opening up a valve on a hose. The larger the cut, the more air comes through it. V cuts, I like V cuts because I get less filler in my mouth. Every now and then with a straight cut, you're like, as you're smoking, you're spitting out the little pieces of filler that come into as you're drawing through the cigar will come through into your mouth, and you spend half the cigar spitting out pubes, but with a with a V cut, that stops a lot of that, so it's. My God! Sometimes a V cut you don't get a lot of airflow. So with the crown cut, you can get a lot more airflow through it.
I thought you were going to stop like a minute ago, and you kept going. Mike's face just got a big old grin on it.
Oh, yeah, I love it. All right, well, lady, let's jump into veteran news with Mark.
I'm going to be a failure this week since I was gone all weekend and just flew back a little while ago. I failed in my mission to have
It's
something
okay.
done.
Well, give us a rundown of your speech that you did. Just kind of a brief rundown.
Okay. Let me grab something real quick.
Okay, sounds good.
So, we, of course, of course, I used the first, the most important thing was the 3 B's of public speaking, and we all know what those are, correct?
That's right.
Be thankful, be brief, and be seated.
Yeah.
So I did maintain that. But so I start off, of course, thanking everybody, and then I went through I started with the subject of identity, our identity as United States Marines, and 27 years ago, during one of those liberal administrations, I might spark your memories. Just like I said, 27 years ago. But in 1997, Miss Sarah Lister was the Assistant Secretary of the Army, and she made this quote, and I'll read the quote. I think the Army is much more connected to society than Marines. Marines are extremists, and whenever you have extremists, you have some risk of total disconnection with society, and that's a little dangerous.
Wow.
So, this was one of those liberal administrations. I won't even go into it, or I will get cut off, I'm sure. Maybe a knock at the door. But so then I had to go through a little history from Bella Wood to Afghanistan about Marines being just slightly dangerous or just a little dangerous and things like that. Like, the Battle of Bella Wood, we got our nickname, Tufel aka Hounds of Hell, from the traumatized German soldiers. World War II, the Japanese admiral in charge of Tarawa boasted that 1 million men couldn't take that island in 100 years.
Really?
And the slightly dangerous 2nd Marine Division took it in 76 hours. 10 communist divisions surrounded the 1st Marine Division in the Chosin Reservoir area, North Korea, November and December of 1950. After that battle, 7 of those communist divisions, their colors never re-entered combat during the rest of that war. 3 understrength battalions attacked into Way City to recapture the city, house to house fighting, 30 days of hell. And it wasn't until probably the last week where the politicians who were micromanaging the war allowed them to use heavy artillery and close air support. Okay. Saddam Hussein was, he had the impenetrable landmine or minefield, and it was supposed to be the mother of all battles. And, a recon platoon from I think it was 1st Marine Division, punched through that minefield, and everyone else followed through, started.
I got him.
Is it me?
No,
Them?
I got him.
They got him.
Oh, he was going good too.
California.
Yeah, see, if we weren't so unhinged, we would have just given up in the Chosin Reservoir and said, "Okay, here, guys, you got us.
Yeah.
You got us." Yeah,
It's kind of important, I think, for us to be a little unhinged. I mean, you need to be a little unhinged, to do what we do.
Yeah, that's why people are scared of us. That's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Well, hopefully Mark comes back on and gives us the rest of the scoop here.
No, me.
So they got him though. All right. Well, we can move on. I think I'm about to go out too here. Hopefully I don't. But I guess we'll move on to what is it? Military news with Vic.
Yes, like you guys are all frozen for me, so hopefully you guys can hear me.
I can hear you.
All right, good. It appears as though our recruitment has come in at 12.5% over mission for 2024.
Wow.
While speaking on multi-service panel on 2025 recruiting issues at the Pentagon earlier this week, Director of Military Accession Policy Katie Helland said that the services increased the number of recruits from 200,000 in fiscal year 2023 to 225,000 in fiscal year 2024. Additionally, she said that the services had a 35% increase in written contracts and an active component delayed entry program started 2025 with a 10% larger pool. Nevertheless, we will remain cautiously optimistic about future recruiting operations as we continue to recruit in a market that has low youth propensity to serve, limited familiarity with military opportunities, and a competitive labor market and a declining eligibility among adults, which I thought was interesting. Where did it go? Apparently approximately 77% of people between the ages of 17 and 24 require some type of waiver to serve due to any number of disqualifications.
Wow.
77%, 3/4 of every, 3 out of every 4 poolee needs a waiver.
That's a lot of extra work.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, hey, Vic, now that Mark is back, we'll jump back to Mark and have him finish out. They got him. They got him good. I'm just surprised they didn't knock down your door this time.
So where did I leave off? Iraq?
Yes.
Okay. So after Iraq, there's a intelligence report that describes a intercepted Taliban radio message. A Taliban leader that was hiding in Pakistan was trying to harangue his subordinates there in Afghanistan about why they're not fighting harder against the Marines. And the Taliban whined back. He says, "But the Marines run towards our bullets." So I just continued on about how Marines, we are more than just slightly dangerous. We are extremists, but we're not disconnected from society. That, as General Monday stated from his when he established the core values of honor, courage, commitment, we are the warrior and the citizen that others strive to emulate. And so we got to stay involved, involved with our local, our local races, all the way up to a federal and the presidential race. But we have to stay involved. We have to stay Marines. We have to stay extremists. And do what Marines do.
I love it. Did you get some rowdy shouts after that?
Oh, definitely. Because these were all Marines that have been out of the Marine Corps for a while. There's only a few retired Marines, but they loved it.
Very nice, very nice.
Especially the Gold Star, parents really loved it too.
Yeah. I had this weekend, I interviewed TJ Morgan, who is the commandant for the Marine Corps League. So his veteran story is going to be on Thursday. And then I did directly after that, we went ahead and did a fireside chat. So we talked about the Marine Corps League. So on Friday's episode, it's going to be about the Marine Corps League. But he did a really good job.
Yeah. And I told that commandant of the Marine Corps League, he's a wounded veteran. He lost use of his legs from wounds in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to get him hooked up with you so you get him his veteran story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very nice. Well, Mark, you got anything else for us?
No, I don't want to get cut off again.
Very well. All right.
I can't believe this crap. I can work all day. I'll work 8 hours for my job working. Not one problem with my internet. Not one.
As soon as you jump on here.
As soon as I get on this, and I've done other Zooms. It's crazy.
Wow.
Big Brother is watching.
Soon as you start all that anti-communism talk, they're like, "Oh,
yep,
shut him up."
Exactly.
Oh my God. Gotta
You know,
love it.
everybody listening in on you, Mark, and they're just leaning back in a chair. They're like, as soon as you hit that, they're like,
He said it.
they're hitting the button. They're hitting the button.
He's the only person in California that has a security, quote unquote, security guard on him at all times.
Yeah.
That's what
It
people
feels
I know.
like
They'll say stuff like, "Oh, you use Alexa, or you use this, or you use that." They're watching you, or smart TV, and I'm like, those guys must have a damn boring ass life if they're watching me and surveilling me, because they must be half asleep half the damn time. But Mark's keeping them on their toes. They're
Yeah.
oh boy, sitting there, he's like,
There
he said it. He said it.
Oh, I love it.
Then they change his shift. They're like, yeah, watch this one Sunday night. He's like,
Yep.
okay, yeah, I got you. All right.
They got to pay him a premium to work Sunday nights now.
That's right. They used to think Sunday nights were chill. Not anymore.
Yeah.
All right, Vic, go ahead and keep going with what military news.
Yeah, so we were talking about recruiting being up. So the director of New Sessions, youth today seek a larger purpose in lives and desire jobs where they have greater participation in decision making and create a direct, tangible impact. Military Service Office at we are working to reframe the narrative that Americans understand that military service is a pathway to greater education and career opportunities. So apparently. She added that the DoD is reframing this narrative. For example, the Department of Joint Advertising, Marketing, Research, and Studies program will soon launch a campaign to build familiarity with the American public about the value of military service. Plans are also proceeding to have adult influencers advocate for military service. Let's see. DoD is working with its education partners to develop a plan and strategy to share data with state education agencies so that public high school students can receive credit for military readiness in addition to college and career readiness. So
Wow.
I'm not really sure what that means. I mean, is that a JROTC thing? If you got you got a first class PFT and JROTC, does that mean something? I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I'm gonna follow that and see where this goes. But yeah, that's some interesting stuff going on there. Also in life as a service member, I reported probably, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago, Mr. Austin, Honorable Mr. Austin there, our Secretary of Defense, was basically rolling out multi-phase plans to increase service member morale and all that kind of stuff. The newest initiative has been released. Includes, among other things, we talked about the establishment of a healthcare flexible spending accounts for service members, policy changes to lower the cost of permanent change of duty stations, and efforts to improve the quality of life for service members at remote and isolated duty locations. Also among the initiative, the newest one released is an effort to provide free wireless internet connectivity in service members residing in military barracks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah,
that's going to be a pretty penny.
Yeah, Department of Defense directed military services to carry out a series of pilot projects to advance the effort. Providing that connectivity is more about just allowing service members to watch movies or play games. However, free Wi-Fi for single service members is an operational issue. Every time we go and visit barracks, check this out. This is awesome. One of the questions that we ask our soldiers, our airmen, Marines, Guardians, whoever is in those barracks, if you could have 10 more square feet in your barracks room or free Wi-Fi, what would it be? And of course, everybody picked free Wi-Fi. While it's easy to assume young service members are interested in only the entertainment options that the internet provides, there is more to it than that. The other thing that I think is important is that we sort of peel back that our service members, particularly our enlisted service members living in unaccompanied housing, they're doing things like accessing mental health services. They're doing things like connecting with their families when they're in remote locations. So, I mean, it's taking online classes, accessing their healthcare and all that kind of stuff. I mean, how many service members are on online counseling? A lot,
Yeah.
So, I mean, and giving them access to free Wi-Fi allows a lot of the stuff to happen. Allow junior service members access to personal email, banking, and entertainment options, but also help service members connect with mandatory online training requirements, other healthcare and life-related resources such as telehealth appointments, Military One Source, and military and life counselors. So yeah, that's a big deal. So I'll be kind of following this one too. Yeah, there's a few other things out there. Oh yeah, U.S. sending more bombers and warships to the Middle East. Go figure. Apparently, this last week, Austin ordered several B-52 Stratofortress bombers to a squadron of fighter jets, tanker aircraft, and Navy destroyers to the Middle East. So our presence is getting more and more robust. It seems like as the days go on, almost. So yeah, I don't want to say it anymore, but like tensions are getting higher, more stressed over there.
Yeah, it's like it's never ending,
Yeah,
or at least it seems that way.
Well, I don't have anything for current news, so we can continue this conversation on. And it's based. Israel finally had enough with Iran, and they launched a series of attacks and strikes against them. And Iran has been threatening, basically saying that the response is going to be. I forget the term they use, but it's going to be big, and it's going to be against the U.S. and Israel. So,
Interesting.
And we also have Austin confirmed that North Korean fighters are training with and are going to be on the ground with Russian fighters soon.
Oh, I saw reports they're already there. They're already getting they're already getting slaughtered at the front lines.
Yeah.
Already being slaughtered. Yeah. All right.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, welcome to the fight, I guess. Jeez.
That's their bilateral training. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was going to make some terrible comment or reference to like Korean barbecue or something, but I didn't want to do it. So.
Well, I mean, the original assessment, the original estimate of troops was 3,000. Now they're assessing that North Korea has sent around 10,000 of its soldiers to train in Eastern Russia. So 3 times as much as more than what they were originally estimating. Our most recent information indicates about 8,000 of those soldiers are now in Kursk Oblast. Whatever, I don't know. Now we're not seeing these soldiers deploy in combat against Ukrainian forces, but we expect that these North Korean soldiers will join the fight against Ukraine in the coming days. So that's what the Department of Defense is reporting.
Wow.
What's the last? I mean, other than the Korean War,
with North Korean soldiers in artillery operations, unmanned aerial vehicle operations, and basic infantry tactics to include trench clearing. So, yeah.
What were you saying, Mike?
I was just asking, out of my own ignorance, what is the last major skirmish the North Koreans have been a part of? I mean, other than the Korean War, I mean,
That's it.
I don't think anything.
I'm sure they trained. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's.
You remember? You guys remember in Braveheart, where King Edward the Sixth is like, we need to bring in our conscripts, and basically the conscripts were the fodder. When you have a force that hasn't had real military experience in decades, what do you think those 10,000 North Korean soldiers are going to be doing?
Yeah,
they're going to be catching bullets. That's all they're going to be doing. Catching bullets.
Like the king said in Braveheart, send in the Irish. The dead have no value.
Yeah, exactly. It's my island.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, Aaron, you said you don't have current news. Is there anything you want to talk about?
I didn't prepare anything for current news, but mainly several things going on. Obviously, this is election week, so that's the big one in the news, and they're trading shots and blows. I I was actually just trying to watch this clip. Apparently, Biden said something about Republicans are the kind of guy you'd like to smack, and they didn't get to it, but I guess smack in the face or something like that. I'm telling you, their words, I'm telling you, come Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, this is going to go one or two ways.
Yeah.
And I don't think either way is going to be good, be honest with you.
No.
Because they have stoked the fire and stoked the fire and stoked the fire.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I don't know. We'll see. It's neck and neck right now in with all the early voting and stuff, but
yeah, that's what I keep seeing on social media as I'm going through whatever everyone's talking about. Trump's ahead, and then there's Harris is ahead, and it's just going back and forth, and they just keep depends on what news outlet I think they're watching, but yeah. So I have no idea. I don't know what this is going to hold, but I think there's already record number of voters that have started voting.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And the Republicans are more game day voting, so hopefully the push that the Republican Party did to get early votes out, which has shown that they have made a lot of early voters, but there's still those holdouts that are going to vote on game day.
oh, no worries. We'll probably see that spike in the middle of the night again.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and pray to God that putting Laura Trump in there into the RNC and getting rid of those one slugs that were there, and they went from the different, especially the battleground states where all those freaky things were going on, and hopefully they've gotten that stopped. Some of that bullshit counting and taking in ballots. I think what Nevada's saying, they'll take in ballots up till 3 days afterwards, and they don't even have to have a postmark.
No kidding. Wow.
It's like, what kind of third world country is that?
Georgia's pulling some shady shit too. So if you early voting, you're not. Georgia says you're not supposed to have voter boxes, collection boxes if you have early voting, and there are precincts that have early voting, and they've closed down early voting. Now people are hand delivering like ballots to just representatives, not to actual voting locations.
Yeah.
And just giving them to like representatives, and then Georgia say, no, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. We're good.
We're
not breaking the laws.
Yeah, with this poll workers, there's not enough security involved with our voting.
Not even close.
Yeah, it's
and you still have. I mean, like in Oregon and Washington, we got people dropping incendiary devices in voter collection boxes.
The drop boxes.
I mean, this shit's still happening. You got people trying to rip these voting boxes up from the walls or whatever. I mean, all of this happened in 2020. We all saw it play out. It's not like we don't know it's not happening. Everybody knows it. It's looking for it. Why are you still trying to pretend that this is okay? Nobody's going to notice. Now we're dropping incendiary devices to burn up ballots. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing is none of us actually know if our vote is actually counted.
Well, actually,
that's the sad thing, and there's no
in
checks
California.
and balances.
We can track our ballots.
Can you?
Yep, we can track our ballots, and we voted early, and we tracked our ballots, and ours are good.
So how does that work, tracking the ballot?
So there's a website that you go on because you have your ballot has like a code on it, the RFI code, and so when it gets in there, when it gets in there, it hits something, clicks something, and we get an email and a text.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, they should do that everywhere.
They should.
Look at there, California doing something right.
Unbelievably.
The problem with California, it's like LA, San Francisco.
Yep. And
those two places control the entire state.
They do. The population is so large.
Yeah.
Yep. Because if you look, they'll show the state voting, and it's those big blocks of blue in those major urban areas, and then the rest of the state is red.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on your ballot, even if you can track it, says it's been counted, does it actually record who you voted for?
No, it doesn't go that far.
Yeah.
So Mark voted for Harris and Walz.
More than likely, yeah.
Noted.
Yeah, as soon as they scanned
Yeah.
it. So did you did a mail-in ballot or you went and voted in
Look-
person?
Oh, I went dropped in the drop box at the library.
Looking out.
Yeah, I walked my tail straight into the poll place and went,
He's looking
my
out.
ID.
Man, Sergeant Major. Yeah. That dude is about to. I've met a few like him when I was in the Army National Guard.
Yeah.
Biggest freaking piece of crap. Biggest piece of crap.
There's no one. There's no one that says anything good about the guy.
Yeah.
Hey, did any of you guys watch any of the interviews with JD Vance?
Yeah, I've watched bits and pieces of them, not the full
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah, I watched there was the one with, they're all comedians. All the comedians are the ones that they're going on, and they're actually like doing better reporting and that type of
answering
stuff.
better questions than the news stations.
Absolutely, yeah. And JD Vance, man, I really, really like JD Vance. All the way he talks, the way he handles himself, and he's very methodical about what he's saying, but he's down to earth, which is really cool.
Yeah, and he doesn't claim to be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And especially when he's on with some of those CNN or wherever, he doesn't lose his temper when you just. I want to lose my temper when I'm listening to it.
I do. I'm the same thing.
And he's able to shut them up too. Like
Definitely,
if they're
with
saying
facts.
something that isn't right, he jumps in and says, "No,
Right.
I'm not going to do that. This is that," and he straightens it right out. Yeah, I'm very impressed with him and all the interviews. And I'm incredibly impressed with all the comedians that have their podcasts out there asking the questions. I mean, of course, Joe Rogan, he's the number one podcaster out there. But, I saw two other comedian podcasts and stuff. And I'm like, oh, my God, these guys are fantastic.
Well, who was that one that super liberal guy was asking him about? You're bringing a Cheney on. You're bringing a Cheney into the Democratic Party. They're like, oh, she's doing good. It's like, come on, a Cheney.
Yeah. It's been very interesting. I can't stand watching the news anymore. But watching these podcasts and stuff like that, I can sit down and watch them. I think I get more out of that than I do anything else.
Yep.
Well, it seems that there's more actual conversation out of it at that point. Yeah, they're not going for something. They're like, okay, let's talk.
Mm-hmm. And
that was one thing. What's his name? He's on in New York City. What is his name? Charlemagne the God. Charlemagne and DJ Envy.
Mm.
And that's a commercial they keep running here in here in Southwest Georgia is where I'm at, and that's where I see it. I don't know if they run other places, but I've seen clips online, because he actually interviewed Kamala, whatever her name is, but he's talking, and he's, I don't know if they're running the same commercials everywhere in the country or not, but he was like, seriously, she wants your taxpayer money to go fund, sex changes and all this and that crap for inmates. But actually, of all people, I'm like, that was either taken extremely out of context, or he's, and what I've seen online, bits and pieces, I haven't got to see like the interview and different, him talking actually out of his studio on his podcast to see if he actually said everything he said. But I'm like, I would have never guessed that guy would have been like, are you kidding me? I figured he would have been jumping up and down, holding the banner for her. But I'm like, okay, well, maybe not everybody's as easily manipulated as we think they are. But
your point about the context, though, Mike, is what I've seen is they have legitimately taken a few words that Trump and JD Vance said, and they associate it with something that is completely false and a lie.
Yeah.
But if the Republicans show a clip, you'll hear liberals, oh, that's just a clip. Okay, go watch the whole thing and you'll get it right in context. So,
that's what the American people, they're quick to fact check, but when they want to believe it, then it's got to be gospel. So
I heard it on the radio the other day. They took something Trump said that it was about women.
Yes, I'm gonna Right.
they-
About protecting.
Yep, they completely flipped it.
Correct.
Wasn't
Yeah.
even associated with.
Hmm.
And I can't remember what it was, but I was like, you got like they don't even care that you know anymore. They're like, we're gonna
See
do
what I
it
wish what the
because-
Republican Party would do in cases like that. Every
because
commercial's been run throughout the country. I wish they would take out however much it costs. Take out a damn 5-minute advertisement and put it online. Put it on, national
Yeah.
television. Say this is what they showed you, but this is actually what was said.
Yep.
And just it would cost, and there would probably be no network would actually run it. But I mean, it's just to be able to see, okay, well, this is what was said,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but this is actually the truth.
yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Aaron.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And
No, you get you good. The issue being is like you said, they have a bunch of blind followers that are not going to go do the research, look up the full clip. They're just going to be like, well, they said this, so I'm going with it. I believe
Yeah.
everything they say, and that's their deep embedded followers.
and then they don't have as much luck going out there on the street to find someone who will support. They'll go into the minority areas and try to get the support for Kamala, and these people are turning it right back on them.
Yeah,
I said, have you been, like you said, have you been to the grocery store lately?
yeah.
That's all I got to say. It's like,
You've been in office 3.5 years. You ain't done crap.
Yep.
So why would I reelect you?
Speaking of- Speaking of grocery stores, I just went like 2 days ago, and I didn't even fill a cart all the way up. Like is maybe 3/4 of the way up. It was over $200,
oh yeah,
and I'm like, what in the world? Like this is ridiculous.
yep,
Gotta
That's
love
how
it.
I feel. My wife, I go to the grocery store. My wife and I go. I feel like when I was in the early '80s as a kid, it's like you just get what you bare necessities of what you need is how it feels almost.
yeah.
Like, well, we need milk. Are we going to drink a gallon of milk? Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's get a half gallon. Or
That's
Put
right.
some water
Don't let it go
stuff like-
waste.
yeah, it's like, are we going to drink it before it goes bad? Are we going to do this?
There was
Yeah.
there was some of that when I was a kid, but I can remember sitting in the buggy and my mom and grandmother, whoever I went to the store with, would fill the buggy up with groceries piled on top of me, but maybe $100 if that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But even then, that was high.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
walk
like it is now in comparison. But I remember that as a kid.
yeah, but I walk
less
out.
than 10 years old. My mother's like, she'd buy 3 weeks worth of groceries.
Yeah.
And she'd be going on about it. She goes, I can't believe that cost me $82. It's like,
I guess it's just the time that we live in. It's always going to be
Yeah.
higher than what we want.
yeah, but I mean, it's the increase was drastic, was extremely fast. It didn't, you take a gallon of milk 20, 30 years ago. Okay. And I've seen those studies who are like, well, yeah, if you really look at it with inflation, this and that, it really hasn't gone up that much in comparison to what you think it has. But in the last 4 years, 3.5 years,
Mm-hmm.
it's doubled and tripled
Yeah.
than what it did in the last 25 to 30 years.
Yeah.
Or a dozen eggs.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But when oil prices go up and gasoline
Yeah.
and diesel, it's got to be delivered somehow.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
Well, and that's the big
True.
thing I deal with produce farmers in that. And they talk about that. They're like, hey, we sell the product, but part of the deal is they've got to foot some of the bill for the freight.
Mm.
The cost of freight is through the roof.
yeah, it's
I mean, and that the diesel and the drivers really aren't making anything off the deal. It's the brokers, and the owners of these companies that are making the money.
Yeah.
And that's why these poor guys are trying to bust their tail to run as many loads as they can, be on the road for 30 days a week, a month.
right.
And
Yeah.
they're still not making, what they were making 5-6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They were making $10,000-$15,000 a month running
Yep.
loads. Now they're making between 5 and 7.
Oh my God.
And
That's
if
a
you're
huge-
if you're a vehicle owner and fuel costs, just tires and maintenance
Mm-hmm.
at that
Yep.
point, it's ridiculous. And then on top of that, if you're still paying on a truck and you have to pay a $2,000 a week
Yeah.
charge on a vehicle that you're financing to own. I mean, that stuff, you can't afford to do
Adds
it.
up. Yeah. Adds up too quick. Holy cow.
That's
Well,
okay, because if Kamala gets reelected, gets elected, she's gonna stop price gouging. It's all gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Even though
let's
our grocery stores operate at a 2% margin, a 2%
Absolutely,
margin,
yeah.
but we're gonna stop price gouging.
and we're
So
gonna
what'll happen is we'll shut down grocery stores.
tax the corporate owners and the rich people, because that's going to solve the problem. No, their employees are not going to make any more money.
Nope.
Yeah.
They're going to like, well, I got to pay more taxes, so
Well,
Yeah.
I
you're
mean,
not gonna raise.
the same thing that happened to all of our fast food places when they upped the minimum wage to $15. When was the last time you went into a McDonald's and actually had somebody take your order? No,
Yeah,
you go to the kiosk and you put your own order in, and then they call your number and you come up and get it. So, like
you're losing employees.
Yeah, I think what happened if she gets elected, our grocery stores are going to turn into big box stores. Every one of them. They're just going to be putting boxes straight on the shelves. You're going to have to go in and pull stuff out of boxes, just like Home Depot or Lowe's.
It's gonna be a company store like in the old mines and stuff like that, where you pay them to go buy some groceries.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you completely cash yourself out. There's not going to be any type of interaction with anybody employee. You walk in, you go to the big box, you go grab your stuff, and then you leave. You cash yourself out, and you will leave. That's what it's going to turn into.
It's already almost like that. Just the grocery stores here in Virginia Beach. I went out. There was one cashier, that line that was open for people with big, lots of items or whatever. But they have the check yourself out type of stuff, and that's 90% of everybody was doing that. It's the same thing with Walmart. Walmart's the exact same way.
Yep. I mean, there are basically pilot stores over in Europe that have like cameras on the shelves or around all the shelves, and then like there are sensors where you take off things off the shelves. You don't even go through a cash system, like a cash.
That's what
system.
Amazon's doing. Yeah.
Card, and you just walk out with it, and you have a credit card on file, and it just automatically charges your credit card.
Yeah. Amazon's been doing that in like Washington State. You just literally go in and you don't put stuff in your cart, just turn around and walk out. And as soon as
hotel
hit
refrigerators
the door,
do that
bank
now.
account. Yeah.
Hotel refrigerators. You take something out of the refrigerator, like a can of soda or the bottle of a little booze, bam! It goes on your bill, right then and there.
Yeah. That's when you got to watch your kids. You got to make sure they're not grabbing them, or at least I do.
Well, I was thinking I need to have that system set up in my own house so when my kids come home.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I don't even have to look and say where'd the milk, where'd this go or where'd that go. I just look at. I'll have a tablet and I'll be like,
"Yep,
I see where that bag of chips went." Yep.
So you
can't leave until that account's cleared. It's got to be paid before you leave.
Still, the exchange is full self-checkout now.
Really?
Yep. The customer service, they have people up there, but they have one person watching all the registers at the self-checkout.
Oh, wow. No, at Miramar, they still have full checkers.
Yeah.
And baggers.
Wow. And I got to be honest, I'm not real good at swiping everything and doing it. It takes me forever to get through it whenever I'm checking myself out. Man, it's horrible. I am not proficient. I can say that.
Anytime I do it at Walmart, and all of a sudden the sirens start going off because I'm moving too fast. I'm like, I promise you, I'm not trying to steal that $2.99 item that you claim I tried to steal. It really isn't worth it.
Well, Andrew, you bring up a good point. I mean, how many mothers go shopping with their kids? And if everything becomes a self checkout, you're trying to manage your kids, and they're grabbing candy bars off the little kiosk next to the cash register and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, that's a real thing,
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt. I know firsthand right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
Andrew's wife has to pay attention to him because he's eating the candy bar while he's walking through the damn store. So it's like,
that is true. That is true. And I wonder where my kids pick it up.
yeah.
Do they play hide and seek in the stores?
Oh my God, yes, they have done that.
My oldest did that when she was about 4, maybe 5. And I ran around, I seen her, and then I ran around the corner the other way. I didn't see her. So I come back and I didn't see her. I went back around, tried to link up with her mom, and I was like, where did Callie go? Did you see
Yeah,
her?
you're freaking out. Yeah.
Oh, she started freaking out. You know where she ended up? She walked out of the front of the store, and she started crying, and some lady got her and took her to customer service and said, well, the parents of Callie go to show.
Oh man.
Yeah. Some little kid was doing that the other day when I was in the store, and I just chuckled, and I was like, my daughter did the exact same thing. I said, keep them close because they will run away.
Yep.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, you don't know who's just hanging out to prey on that opportunity, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's the part I worry about nowadays.
Especially nowadays. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Halloween, like I wouldn't let my kids out of my sight. And I told my wife, I said, when she took them down, I was like, don't let them out of your sight.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty bad when Halloween, they're trick or treating. You got to watch closely because you just don't.
Yeah, especially if you got a bunch of little kids running around all over the place. And then, yeah.
There was more teenagers out trick or treating.
Yeah, that's what bothers me in years past. It's like, okay, you guys are entirely too old to be out here now. You need to.
That kind of upsets
what do
me.
you think the cutoff is? What age-wise? What do you think the cutoff is?
When I say teenagers, I'm not
50. I was out there.
I'm not saying 17, 18, 19. I'm saying these are like, 12,
13, 14,
12,
yeah.
Yeah, 12 to 14, maybe 15-year-olds. They weren't old enough to drive. Their parents were driving them and dropping them off.
Yeah, maybe that's what the cutoff needs to be, driving age.
But these kids nowadays are so much bigger. They're the size of a friggin' adult. So you can't really tell. I mean, you got 6 foot plus 14-year-olds walking around and like, how old are you, boy? 14. Well, get out here. Like I'm Shaquille O'Neal at 14.
You should be on a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be working.
Yeah. I started working and paying taxes at
14.
14 or 15. 14,
Yeah.
I believe.
Paying taxes, I started at 15, but
Well, I'd be here forever if I could think about it and remember, but I'm pretty sure I was either 14 or 15. And I think I turned 15, got my work permit so I could drive to school, home, and then to.
yeah.
But I actually think I started at 14.
Well, I was making money on my own, probably at 10 or 11. I was out mowing lawns, making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing, but I wasn't old enough to pay taxes.
Yeah.
So when I came home, I didn't realize it wasn't a real thing until years later. I had to pay the dad tags. I was like, he goes, you use my lawnmower, you use my gas. Guess you're gonna pay. I was like, okay. It was like he was a damn mob boss. It's like I get a cut. It's like 30%, and I'm like, what? I only made $20 today.
Well, 6 of them are mine.
It was like, hey, let me tell you something.
Get used to it, son.
I give you a roof. I give you a bed. It's like Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
You sleep in my bed, in my sheets, and my roof. You eat my food. I don't have to like you. Ain't nothing in the rules says I have to like you.
Just preparing you for the Marine Corps.
Yeah. Very nice. All right. Well, I guess we can go ahead and start wrapping this up. Has anybody got anything else you want to chat about before we wrap it up? We all
You
good?
want any good news, or are we too far past?
Oh shoot! No, hey, yeah, good news.
No, I'm good.
No,
I
good
was late.
news
I
with
was
Mike.
sitting there listening when
The
Vic
good
was
news-
chastising me.
The good news is that there's no good news. There you go.
Is that right? There was
Good
good
news
news.
that we may have a better day tomorrow after, well, in the next couple of days, I guess, but we'll see.
Yeah.
That'll be some good news.
Hmm.
Wait, when does this air? Wednesday?
No, this will be tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I switched it up a little bit. So we record Sunday night. I post it on Monday, and then when we record on Tuesday night, I'm posting that one on Wednesday.
Are you still recording on Tuesday
Yes.
on election day?
Yeah, that's the plan at least.
That the faith one will go good on that day.
Yeah, we need to have faith on that day.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that Men of Faith one, I'm really looking forward to. It should be a good time. So, Mike, you got some good news for us, Mike?
Yeah, I found a story I was
Well,
looking at.
Vic, what kind of good news is it?
Come on.
Vic sits in the background and he's burping
Where's
earlier
Vic?
and everything
I know.
else. I was like,
I keep freezing. That's why I got my camera off because I'm trying to reduce my bandwidth here. But you guys,
what's the name of Mike's good news?
Oh yeah,
magical, marvelous, merry, mystical.
marvelously merry news with magical Mike McNanny.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Eminem from the GA.
that was good.
All right. Well, I thought this was kind of it's a decent story. It's nothing about dogs or nothing like that. But it was on October 30th. A man named Jerry Hicks in North Carolina. He was driving home from work, stopped at a convenience store to get a drink or a snack. It doesn't just said he stopped. As he was walking in from the parking lot, he found a $20 bill laying on the ground. And it said he must have thought of his lucky day when he stopped at the convenience store and noticed a $20 bill on the ground. He said, "Oh, what the heck? It's not mine. I didn't earn it." So he went in and bought a scratch-off lottery ticket. Said Hicks from Banner Elk, North Carolina, took the $20 and walked into a speedway on State Highway 105 in Boone County on Tuesday evening and bought an extreme cash scratch-off. Hicks said the speedway didn't have his usual lottery ticket he preferred to play, so he bought a different one. Wasn't familiar with it. He said to lottery officials, he said, "It's interesting how these little choices can seem so consequential when the results was that Mr. Hicks from a found $20 bill won $1 million on a scratch-off ticket."
Oh, that's insane.
Said he hadn't been having all that good of a week, and especially that particular day wasn't a very good day. He was very reluctant to go home because he was very depressed. Didn't really feel, he was going home, but he just was like, I don't have it in me today, basically.
Yeah. Holy moly.
And when he turned a ticket, he called the North Carolina lottery office. They had to come in and verify it and all that stuff. And the lottery official said, "So what are you going to spend your money on?" He said, "Well, the first thing we're going to go to do is go to Golden Corral and eat everything they got."
Nice.
But it's funny, and it's sad when you think about this. He said he was offered the choice of a 20-year annuity of $50,000 a year, or a lump sum of $600,000 out of $1 million,
What?
which came out to $429,007 after taxes.
That's crap.
And that's what the lottery goes. Then that's
Wow.
really it's like, really? That's the lottery, okay. You're paying into it. And I understand what the lottery goes towards in states. But
Yeah.
I mean
That's crazy.
that's just money, and the state's still like, okay, you're giving it back. You're gonna give it back. Out of $1 million, if he took Well, that's where I've asked that. I've thought about it. He could get 50,000 a year for 20 years.
Mhm.
But it doesn't say if you have to pay taxes on that 50,000 or not. I don't know if that's with
I
taxes or
imagine
not.
you would have to.
I would think. But he chose to take the lump sum of 600,000. But after the tax payout was $429,007.
Yeah, he'd definitely have to be taxed on it if he took
Yeah,
the 50,000 a year.
50,000. Yeah.
Mhm.
So at that point, at 50,000, he's probably still getting what, 30,000? What is it, 7%, 10%? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the same across the country or if
I
it's
think
by
it's-
state.
Well, the annuity is still
same
counted
state or
as
federal?
income, so it would like
Yeah.
add to what his income already is.
Yeah, he's
so
gonna
it
have to
probably
pay on
move
that
him into a
50,000
higher
in
tax
taxes
bracket.
for
Correct.
earned income at that point. Yeah. But either way, Hicks said he was blessed. It was money I didn't have. He said so. He plans to retire working as a master carpenter after 56 years. And he said, "Oh, by the way, we still plan on going to Golden Corral." So,
Spoken like a true redneck.
I guess if you look at it that way, it wasn't his money to begin with,
Yeah.
and it was just a $20 bill laying in a mud puddle in a parking lot somewhere. He picked it up, and it's like, what the heck? So at that point, I guess it's like, okay, 400 some thousand is better than nothing.
Heck yeah. Add $20 to that 400 something thousand because
Yeah. But if you have to go buy groceries, that'll be gone fast. So
I know he'll only get 3 trips to the grocery store.
yeah.
Oh man.
And that's if he buys the bag cereal.
Yeah, it goes to Aldi's.
That's very nice.
He's got to go to Aldi's to get the organic cereal. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to remember to take a quarter so he can stick it in the cart.
What?
Yeah,
You
you
gotta pay a quarter for
never
your
been
cart?
to Aldi's?
No, I've never been to Aldi's.
No, you have to get a shopping cart or a buggy or wherever you're from. I grew up calling them a cart, but to get a cart, you have to put a quarter in the handle of it to unlock it.
What?
No
It's
way.
like a deposit. That way you can go in the store and shop with it. When you come back out, you park it, you take the quarter out.
Ah. Interesting.
Oh.
Huh.
But any Aldi's I've ever been to, everybody just leaves a damn quarter in there. They're like, I'm not taking a damn quarter back out. So
Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for coming on. If you join us on Tuesday, it should be a good time. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about exactly on that one, but I'll let you guys know. And then there'll be a couple other guys on here as well that are going to come in and discuss stuff with us as well. So it'll be good. But with that, let's go and do words of wisdom. We haven't done it with everybody here in a while. So words of wisdom. Let's start with Vic.
All right. Well, this one is a little bit of a long one, but it hit me in the feels. So I'm gonna just bear with me. Someone you met believes in friendship because they met you. Someone you met still smiles when they remember a moment with you. Someone you've met is still listening to the music that you recommended. Someone you met is still encouraged by the advice you gave them. The world needs you.
Yeah, that is good. Right in the feels.
Yeah.
I like that.
It may just be one person, but it's that one person.
That's right.
And that's all it takes sometimes.
That's right. Dang, that's good. I like it. All right, Mike, what do you got?
Revolutionary changes do not always come as one cataclysmic moment, but as an endless succession of surprises zigzagging toward, hopefully, a more decent society.
That's good. Yeah. Man, y'all are getting some good ones. I like this. All right, Aaron, it's been a while.
All right. My pre-election wise quote comes from none other than Abe Lincoln.
Ah,
Elections belong to the people. It's their decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behinds, then they will have to sit on their blisters.
Oh, yeah, that is good. Yeah, that's perfect for election week. Yeah, I like that. Dang. All right, Mark.
Well, I have to go back to my one that I used before about the
Okay.
garbage cans. Remember the garbage can one?
Oh, yeah.
If someone calls you garbage, just remember it's a garbage can and not a garbage can't.
I love it. I love it.
I use
Well,
that one tomorrow at work. I started messing with them last week,
Good.
saying, "Hey, you're a piece of garbage. You're a piece of garbage. You're a piece of garbage."
letting everybody know. That's good.
Hey, did we
man.
ever hear Mark's philosophy on beards? If he did,
Oh, that's right.
Are we
I
gonna do
think
the
that
Are we gonna do the cigar first, or which
Let's
one do
do
you
the
want to do
ci-
first?
You gonna do the cigar review there, Vic? No, you're on mute. You're muted.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Muted.
You're
I
muted.
think he's muted intentionally.
Sorry. I've already reviewed this one before, but definitely not creamy. It's a nice earthy cigar, but it's got some pepper in it, but it's not overpowered. It's like a white pepper as opposed to a black pepper. So it's a good cigar.
All right. I like it. And now we get to hear all about beards. So I've been waiting and waiting for this.
So this, of course, this is coming from my father. This is what I learned from my father. All right.
Okay.
It says, why cultivate something on my face that grows wild on the crack of my ass?
Oh, that's good. That's really good. Well worth the wait.
Absolutely.
That was really
Man,
yeah.
holy cow. Yeah. I'm not going to shave, though. It took me forever to get here. So,
Keep cultivating.
another guy. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Mark. Another guy at work told me, he goes, how do you keep it clean and all that? I said, I wash it every day. Like, you didn't wash your beard every day? He goes, nah, I wouldn't wash it. I was like, that's just disgusting.
Oh,
You gotta wash it.
yeah.
Every day.
No, when
Yeah,
I
you
get
gotta watch
anything, even like a goatee that I'll get, it'll be like down to here, and then I'll shave it off.
Yeah.
Anything I eat, I taste it. You just smell it. You can taste. I'm like, how the hell do you not wash it? You know what I'm
flavor
saying?
saver.
Daily. I
Yeah.
mean, how do you not?
Savor, savor. Yeah.
Do you get crumbs in it? You ever get crumbs in your beard?
No, I'm not. What's his name? Cy Robertson. No, I'm not. And I got that point, but
So
Uncle
I'm
Si?
a little weird. Like, I can feel it if something touches
Yeah,
it. I'm immediately like wiping it off and
Yeah.
going to get a paper towel or more paper towels, depending on how much I fell on my beard. I will tell you, it saved some of my skirts though.
Darren didn't spot his
Built-in
blouse because
napkin?
of his beard.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I can tell you that after 6 months of growing this thing out, it's finally starting to get in the way of my helmet. When my motorcycle helmet, the chin, it's like
Yeah.
the chin
yeah.
bar is starting to get in the way.
Huh. I don't have a helmet to worry about, so I'm good. But all right, guys, thanks for doing this. Thanks for coming on. You guys are awesome. To all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, you need some help, anything like that, don't forget the VA does have some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on the chat icon. Any of those options are going to put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. The crew cares about you. The whole veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies that you served with. Ask them how they're doing. And if they need a helping hand, please give them that helping hand. One last time, crew, thank you guys. You guys rock. To all the listeners, stay motivated. Change your socks.